Sampurita pamita paramita balena Vidvantiyo khila kilesa Samorajalam Tene balanda araham Arahoti namam Vandami buddha mamalam Hadaye tapentva Samanta cakkavalesu atra gaccantu devatan Sandhammang munirajassa sunantu sagga mokkadam Dhammasavana kalo ayam badanta Dhammasavana kalo ayam badanta Dhammasavana kalo ayam badanta Namo tansa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhansa Namo tansa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhansa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhansa Samma ditthing pahang bhikkhave doyang vadami Atte bhikkhave samma ditti sāsavā puñña bhāgiyā upadive pakkā Atte bhikkhave samma ditti ariyā anāsavā lokuttarā maggangā Homage to the exalted one, the worthy one, the perfectly enlightened one. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear friends in the Dhamma, all of you are warmly welcome. And today we are going to explain right understanding, Sammaditthi. Actually, before we have discussed Sammaditthi, but I decided to explain it again because that is very important on the path of liberation. You know, all Buddhist doctrines focus on achieve happiness. Happiness is the main purpose of everybody. But you know, people do a lot of things in the name of happiness, but day by day they are going away from the happiness, unfortunately. Buddha has explained the real path, that how we achieve the real happiness. People mostly think that when they are well educated, when they have a lot of properties and relatives, they are happy, they are satisfied. But you know, day by day, although they are growing up with their knowledge, education, properties, on the other hand, they are losing their happiness. This is the real nature of the world. But Buddha has explained the real path, how we attain real happiness. Here, you know, our happiness depends on how far we have purified our mind from negative emotions, negative feelings. If we can purify our mind from negative emotions such as lustful desire, anger, delusion, then we can achieve little by little real happiness. Therefore, on this path, we should be mindful. Mindful is the main reason that we have happiness. Buddha explained in the discourse of mindfulness, there is a lot of discourses about mindfulness. One of the major discourse that comes in Digha Nikaya, long length discourses, Buddha said Practicing mindfulness is the only way to get rid of suffering. Mindfulness is the only way to achieve happiness. Mindfulness is the only way getting rid of sorrow, lamentation, sadness. As much as we can develop mindfulness, we can achieve happiness. We can get rid of suffering. What is the mindfulness that Buddha has explained? Mindfulness about our mind and body. In this topic, Buddha trained us how we live in the present moment. We mostly live in the past or future. That is the nature of our human mind. If we can train our mind to live in the present moment with consciousness, with mindfulness, actually that is our success. That is our proficiency. That is the thing that we are happy. Here, right understanding is very important. Right understanding in Buddha's language, in Pali, it says Samma Ditti. Right view, right vision, right understanding. This is the first thing that we should develop at the very beginning of the path of purification. It is like getting address or map before we start the journey, where we didn't go yet. It is very important. When we are going to a journey as a new trip, first of all, we should have address or map. Without address or map, although we drive fast, we can't achieve the destination. First of all, we may have clear understanding, clear knowledge where we are going to. What is our destination? That is a necessary condition. Right understanding also like that. Before we start this journey, what is the journey? The path of liberation, the path of purification of our mind. At the very beginning of this path, we should have clear understanding what we practice, where we go to. You know, some people, they think that when we practice meditation, we can achieve the destination. It is not correct. You know, it likes that someone says that when I drive, I can arrive the destination. Actually, we can arrive the destination if we have knowledge. Without knowledge, without understanding, without a map, without knowing about the destination, even though we drive fast, we can't achieve the destination. That is why Buddha says, Janato aham bhikkhave passato asvanam kayang vadami. I describe the destination, the person who knows the map or address. Without knowing this path, we can purify our mind. Therefore, first of all, Buddha has explained how we develop our knowledge, understanding, vision, point of view. There are both reasons, both facts that we should have to develop our right understanding. Buddha says, for right understanding, for right view, right understanding, we should have both qualities. One of them is listening to what Buddha said. Listening. This is one of the good qualities we should have, good attention, awareness. You know, there is a very special discourse in Buddhism, Karaniya Metta Sutta. Metta Sutta. Have you heard it? Karaniya Matta Kusalena Yantam Santam Padam. There is a quality. It comes there, Suvacha. Suvacha means we should have good attention, awareness. When somebody explains this message, we should have good attention. It doesn't sound that obedience. Obedience is different. First of all, we should have clear attention and good attention. Listening to what somebody says in the name of Buddhism. The second one is not only listening, but we have to reflect. We have to reflect on it. Both of them are very important. Somebody can say, without listening to message, I can achieve liberation or enlightenment. Somebody may say, but according to Buddhism, it never happens. When Buddha was living, who was the most intelligent person except Buddha? Have you heard it? Who was the most intelligent person in Buddha's time except the Buddha? Upatissa or Sariputta, Reverend Sariputta. Yes, Sariputta was the person who was the most intelligent person except Buddha. Even he couldn't achieve enlightenment without listening to Buddha's message.
Was it the one that tried to kill him? Or the finger? To cut the finger?
Sorry?
Was it him that tried to cut the fingers of a lot of people? Oh, okay, yes.
He is Angulimala. Yes. Sariputta was a Brahmin. He was one of the chief disciples. There are both chief disciples Buddha had, Sariputta and Moggallana. Sariputta was the one of the chief disciples. He is the Dhamma Senadipati. He is the brigadier of the Dhamma. He is the commander of the Dhamma. Dhamma Senadipati. He was second only to Buddha. He has studied everything which was in India at that time. Like in this society, if somebody has more than 14 degrees, 14 doctorates, he was like that. He was so fluent. He had studied everything, whatever he had to learn. Even he couldn't achieve enlightenment without listening to Buddha's message. First of all, he listening to Buddha's message from Reverend Astaji, one of the first ascetic persons. Kondanya Vappa Badriya Mahanama Astaji. They were the first Buddha's disciples. One of them is Astaji. Reverend Sariputta listening to Buddha's message from Astaji. As soon as he listening to this message, he could achieve the first enlightenment level, Sotapanna. After that, until he passed away, every day he respected Reverend Astaji. And also before he went to bed, he searched where Astaji is. And if Astaji was near, he went and worshipped him. If Reverend Astaji was far, he worshipped that direction and he put his head direct in his place, respecting that as a gratitude person. He showed, as a grateful person, he showed his gratitude in this way. Because he could listen to this message first time from Reverend Astaji. I tried to tell you that even though we are well educated, even though we have worldly lot of degrees, so master degrees, so qualified some subject, we can't achieve this position, enlightenment, without listening to this message. Therefore, these two things are very important. listening to what Buddha said, and according to this message, we have to reflect on it again and again, what he says. Both are very important. There are some people, when they are in the class or in the training room, they listening to very well. But after they leave, they have nothing. They don't reflect in. Actually, it is not good. Not only listening to when we listening, but after we listening it, we have to reflect on it again and again. It says in wise reflection, wise investigation. Yoniso Manasikara. Both of them are very important. In this knowledge, first of all, we understand, as I mentioned before, because there are some newcomers here, I would like to explain some primary things, especially on behalf of you. Okay? In Samma Ditti, first level, we may have the knowledge of karmic law. That is very important. The first step of Samma Ditti is the knowledge of karmic law. That is very important. What is the karmic law? Have you heard about karmic law? What is the karmic law?
Actions lead to
yes.
a reaction.
Yes, good. If we do some action, but consciously, if we do something without consciousness, it will not have result. If we do something consciously with attention, it has some kind of result in this birth or hereafter. Now we are spending a result that we did before in this birth or previous life. Actually, we have a fruitful life. We have a blessed life because of our previous actions. If we hadn't done good previous actions, we wouldn't have this life. Karmic law means if we do something with wicked mind, we will have the bad results. If we do something with pure mind, we will have the fruitful results because of pure mind. This is the first understanding. As much as we listening to this message, when our right understanding increases, when our right understanding develops, grows, gradually the understanding of karmic law grows up. Then we try to go away from doing evils, and also we try to practice good deeds. In one side, we try to avoid unwholesome deeds, evils, bad deeds. On the other side, we try to practice good deeds, wholesome deeds, merits, because of this understanding. If we know that when we do good deeds, we will have the good results, and also if we do bad deeds or wicked things, we will have the negative result, we never go to do evils. We know very well we will have the same results immediately in this life or very recent life in the future. This is the first understanding that we have with the knowledge of Buddha's message. As much as we can listen to Buddha's message, we have good knowledge, we have understanding, we are knowledgeable about the karmic law. This is the first step in Samma Ditti, or right understanding. Buddha says, Dukkho Papassa Ucciyo. If you do bad deeds with polluted mind, you will receive suffering, sadness, lamentation, troubles, difficulties because of polluted mind. On the other hand, Sukho Punya Sauchyo, as much as if you can develop your good deeds with pure mind, you will receive the fruitful results in this short life itself. If somebody has this knowledge, he always tries to go away from evil and he tries to practice good deeds in this life. This is the first understanding, karmic law. You know, as the knowledge of karmic law, we try to practice 3 meritorious deeds. As I mentioned before several times, this is very important. What are the 3 meritorious deeds? Practicing generosity, dana. Practicing virtue or morality, sila. Practicing meditation, bhavana. Okay? Dana, sila, bhavana. You know, there are 3 major unwholesome roots that disturb our peace of mind. What they are? Anger, desire, delusion. You know, by practicing generosity, we try to get rid of desire, big attachment, lustful desire, craving. By practicing loving kindness, or by practicing sila, or virtue, or morality, we try to go away from anger. By practicing meditation, we try to go away from ignorance or delusion. These are the 3 things that we can practice to avoid 3 unwholesome roots. All unwholesome actions arise because of these 3 unwholesome roots. Lobha, dosa, moha. Lobha means craving, desire, or lustful desire, or big attachment. Dosa, anger, or ill will. Moha, ignorance, or delusion. These are the 3 defilements that all negative actions are arising. Then, these are the 3 meritorious deeds. As much as we have developed these merits, then our longevity, our good complexion, our healthy, these qualities gradually increase. Ayu, vanna, sapa, bala. Ayu means longevity, vanna means good complexion, sapa means wealth or happiness, bala means strength. You know, on the other hand, Buddha explained, if you respect elders, if you worship your elders, your parents, virtuous persons, your 4 qualities gradually increase. Ayu, vanno, sukhang, balam. Longevity, good complexion, wealth or happiness, and strength, bala. Actually, everybody in the world, they like these 4 qualities. By practicing merits, we generate, we develop, we cultivate these qualities, these results that everybody likes. This is the first step of right understanding. Okay? Some people, even some Buddhists, they think that Buddha has explained only this level. Although somebody practice these merits, they think still they are in the world. And also they think everything is permanent. And also they think after they die, they will be reborn as the same person. Actually, as the result of practicing good deeds, they can be reborn in a good life, like human realm, heaven realm, or Brahma realm. but still they are in the ignorance. What is the ignorance that they are in? Yes, suffering. How suffering arises? They think the people who do these activities is permanent. And also they think before they were born in the world, it was a world. After they will die, the world remains. That is the nature of ignorance. Actually, most of us have that kind of attitude, feelings, understanding. You know, if somebody knows only this, if somebody has only this understanding, even though they are Buddhists, they have no real knowledge, real understanding, real right understanding. That is why they say everywhere that we light the candle is same. In church, mosque, kovil, temple, everywhere the lamp that we light is same. They may say. But in this level, the lamp is same. But when we are going to the next level, the lamp in the temple is different. If somebody knows only this level, their lamp is same everywhere. That is why some people say the lamp or light, candle that we light is same in the temple, mosque, church, kovil or anywhere. In this level it is true, but you know when we go to the next level, it is different. Even though we practice these merits, thinking the impermanence, thinking permanence, you know, still we are in the land of Mara, as I mentioned before. We can be reborn in a good life, blissful life, as a human life or heavenly realm. But still we are in the land of the Mara. Even though we practice good deeds as three meritorious deeds, how we overcome this land of Mara? First of all, we should have knowledge, understanding, before we start the path of liberation. What is the knowledge that we achieve before practicing this path? Yes, understanding of impermanence or understanding of dependent origination. Dependent origination is the heart of Buddhism. Dependent origination is the main topic. Every Buddhist doctrines depends on dependent origination. That is why Buddha said, Yo patisampadam passati so dhammam passati. He who knows dependent origination sees Dhamma. He who sees dependent origination knows Dhamma. He who knows Dhamma sees me. Yo Dhammam passati somam passati. Buddha says, he who knows Dhamma sees the Buddha. If we want to see the Buddha, even though we go to the statue, we don't see the real Buddha. If we can see the dependent origination, even though we haven't seen the statue, we can see the real Buddha through our mind, through our vision, through our wisdom. That is the path that Buddha has always encouraged us. Okay, now we are going to the second level with the right understanding. Right understanding is like dawn. You know dawn? The sun comes to the world. Dawn, D-A-W-N. Right understanding is like a dawn. When sun comes to the world, everybody wakes up and they get up, and everything we can see, everything. The birds wakes up, birds, they sing songs, and everybody start their works every day when the sun dawns. Right understanding also like that. As much as we have right understanding, we go on this path. If we are on the way of the path, it means that our knowledge is less. Our knowledge is less a little. As much as we can see this message, we can go front on this path. Right understanding. What is the second step of right understanding? The knowledge of the dependent origination. Buddha says there is a very special discourse in Buddhism that always we describe. Abhiññā Sutta, the discourse of Abhiññā. In the Abhiññā Sutta, the discourse of Abhiññā, Buddha has explained as an intelligent person what we should learn. On the other hand, as an intelligent person, what should we develop? What should we get rid of? And also, what should we achieve? The first thing that should be comprehended, understood by supernormal knowledge is the five aggregates. This is the Buddhist studies. If we want to go forward with Buddhist studies, we should be knowledgeable about five aggregates, what they are. If we have any kind of experience through our senses, we have six senses. Eye, ear, nose, like that. These are the senses that through we get experience. As soon as we get experience through these senses, the fundamental thing is five aggregates. When we see this flower, or when we listen something, when we feel the AC, anything that we feel, that we experience, it means we receive five aggregates. When you drink a coffee, there are several things in coffee. Water, sugar, coffee, there are several things, but they are invisible. We can see only coffee. But when you taste it, you can understand how much it is sugar, how much water, how much coffee. As much as you taste, you can understand. The fundamental things is like ingredients. Everything that we have as form, sound, smell, feelings, everything that we receive through our senses, it means that is the fundamental thing is the five aggregates. What are the five aggregates? Rupa in Buddha's language, in Pali, that Rupa forms, Vedana feelings, and Sanya perception, Sankhara mental formations, and Vijnana consciousness. These five things are together. We can't divide them. When we drink a coffee, we can't separate sugar, or water, or coffee. All of them are together. When we see something, when we hear something, when we smell something, when we eat something, when we feel something, when we think something, these five things are together. The interesting thing is, these five things don't come to present from the past. These five things don't go to the future from the present. These five things every moment arises and ceases at the moment with the conditions. But they are invisible. But that is the ingredient. That is the thing that really we have. Any experience that we receive through our senses, actually we receive these five things. But because of ignorance, we are going to catch them. We can catch, but although when we see this flower, we see another thing. When we go to catch it, we look at this, not that we see. You can believe it? When we see something as flower, we can see only the color. When we go to catch it, we have the 5 elements: earth, fire, water, wind elements. For example, I can give an example to you. You know, there is a water basin. Water basin. When you see the water keeping your head near the basin, you can see your picture, you can see your mirror, shadow there. Okay? When you see your picture in the water, you can keep your hand in your face there. You can smell your face. You can eat it. We can do it. We can do only seeing it. Our whole experience also like that. If we hear something, we can catch it. When you blamed me, when we are going to catch you, I can catch your body, but I can catch the person who belongs to that sound. But because of ignorance, when you blamed me, I am going to hit you. Because of ignorance, it is like when I am angry with my shadow, I am going to hit it. It is like that. If we see something, it is only seen. If we hear something, it is only heard. But because of ignorance, suddenly we bind everything together. With this understanding, right understanding, we are going to separate them in our wisdom. Actually, they can divide in the physical world. We do everything with our wisdom, intelligence. When we are going to understand our reality in the world, in our life, with our wisdom, intelligence, this is a journey that we go through our mind, not a physical journey. This is a spiritual journey that we have to travel.
Is the five, are they only present in human level or also in the upper level?
Yes, that is a good question. There are 3 levels in the world. One level is there are 5 aggregates. There are some levels there are only 1 aggregate. There are some levels there are 4 aggregates. In this level, like lower realm, ghost realm, animal realm, human realm, divine realm, heaven realm, they have 5 aggregates. There are some Brahmas, they have only 1 aggregate, only physical body. They have no other 4 things. There are some beings, they have only mental conditions, they have no figure and no physical things. But Buddha always explains his message focusing on these 5 aggregates, because most of people who listening to Buddha's message, every person who has to listening to Buddha's message, they had these 5 aggregates. After we practice this message, after hereafter, we can be reborn in other realms. But Buddha always appreciated the beings who have 5 aggregates. If we have only 1 or 4 aggregates, we can't listen in this message. That is why, when Buddha lived, after Buddha was born in the world, There were some persons who have developed their spirituality, as you know, jhana in the spiritual levels, psychic energy. They were ready to go to these steps, these realms. Then you know, somebody like ascetic Asita, he cried. What is the reason? After he will be reborn, that levels, he couldn't leave this message. Therefore he cried. He understood. After he died, Buddha will become enlightenment. But he had no chance to listen to the message. You know, death is not the problem. Even though he will be reborn as a human being, he could listen to this message. But he had to reborn in this kind of levels. In this kind of levels, nobody can listen to this message first time. But after we have achieved some kind of spiritual levels, living with high aggregates, after we will be reborn in these levels, we can develop other things. But in the first time, when we achieve the first level of spiritual enlightenment, we should have high aggregates. It is a very big this.
So for them to enlighten, after they go up there, then if they come down, that would be easier because they already have the, you know what I'm saying? They go 5 aggregates, they go up there, 1 or 4, they cannot listen to the message there. But then
Yes.
if they come down, then second time is going to be easier.
Yes, but you know, although these persons have 1 or 4 aggregates, it is also impermanent. One day they come back and they will have 5 aggregates. These are not the place certain. All of them are impermanent. They will be reborn again as human beings or lower realm beings with these 5 things. That is why Buddha has recommended to become the permanent situation with the spirit. Okay, we were discussing about the aggregates.
There's a question. I forget.
Okay, later you can ask. Sometimes your questions will be solved automatically. End of the sermon. Okay, this is one day in the future we will discuss those levels too. But still we are discussing about the primary level doctrines in Buddhism. But every day, although we have been discussing primary level doctrines, every day we go to the end. We go to the spirit. When you refer your handout, you can see it. Okay? Here, the knowledge of 5 aggregates. Buddha says the first thing that should be comprehended with supernormal knowledge is the 5 aggregates. You know, although you have a lot of degrees, master degrees, doctorate, Buddhism doesn't say you are a well-educated person. If we know the real nature of 5 aggregates, that is the nature of the real education that we should have. If we have this knowledge, this education, we are ready to overcome suffering. Without this knowledge, even though we have several doctorates, we are not ready to get rid of suffering. Getting rid of suffering, overcoming suffering depends on how far we have knowledge about 5 aggregates. That is why in the Abhiññā Sutta, the discourse of Abhiññā, Buddha says as an intelligent person, we should comprehend the 5 aggregates in the name of getting rid of suffering. That is the first thing. As much as we have this knowledge about 5 aggregates, we are ready to overcome avijja bhava tanha, ignorance and desire, or big attachment, or lustful desire. You know, if somebody has this knowledge, as much as a person has this knowledge, he is ready to overcome ignorance and attachment. If we have real understanding, this experience arises this moment. It was not here before I came, then I have no big attachment. It doesn't sound that I can't see it or I don't see it. I see it. I can enjoy it. But I have no big attachment. Even Arantas, after they enlightened, they were enjoying with the environment, seeing the, forest, some jungles, trees, lot of floods and, rivers, seeing this natural environment, they were enjoying without ignorance and desire. Now, although we see it, we have no big attachment because of our understanding. We never try to steal it, bring it, Even though this environment is so beautiful like a heaven. But we have no big attachment or desire or ill will. Because of understanding, little by little we go forward with the understanding of five aggregates. Gradually, ignorance and desire go away. Mostly people are suffering because of ignorance. The thing is, after experience, they think still it is happening. For example, now although you leave this hall, you think still this is happening. When somebody blames you, after he blamed, still when you remember, you think that person is permanent. That is why I told you, a person can blame you once. If you are ignorant, you are blamed again and again. As soon as you remember that incident, you are blamed again. But that person may have forgotten it. But still, as soon as we think, we remember that incident, our mind goes to the past and our mind lives in the past. And we are suffering because of ignorance. Buddhism always encourages us how we overcome this ignorance in the name of real happiness. This is the first thing as an intelligent person that we have to comprehend, that the five aggregates. On the other hand, as much as we have knowledge about the five aggregates that, we try to overcome, we try to get rid of, automatically our ignorance and desire go away. Ignorance and desire decrease gradually as much as we have the understanding of five aggregates about the impermanence. What is the nature of the five aggregates? Not being occurred in the past comes to an occurrence. Being occurred at the present would not come to the occurrence. It says in Buddhism, ahutva sambhutang hutva nabhavisyati. This word every day I utter. I explain every day this word that is more important. That is so important. On the other hand, there is the other thing that as an intelligent person that we should practice, we should develop. The third thing that should be developed with supernormal knowledge is tranquility and insight meditation. First, with the right understanding, samadhi, we are comprehend of five aggregates. As much as we have knowledge about five aggregates, we go away from ignorance and desire. On the other hand, with this understanding, we try to practice meditation as samatha and vipassana. Tranquility meditation and insight meditation. Tranquility meditation is like, we control our mind because mind always goes here and there. We try to keep our attention in a particular object using a meditation technique. Mind always goes future and past. Then this is the nature of our mind. We try to keep our mind in the present moment. It doesn't sound that we don't remember our past or future. Anytime we can remember, we can remind our past or future. It is not the fault. It doesn't matter what is the fault. The fault is that when we think something, if our mind goes to past and if our mind lives in the past or future, that is the cause of suffering. That is the fault. As soon as we remember something, we know very well, now I read my mind. Then we have mindfulness, awareness. We can remember anything, not only this life. As much as we practice mindfulness, we can remember even when we were in our mother's womb. Not only mother's womb. As much as we can develop mindfulness, we can remember our last previous lives too. Not 1 or 2 or 100 years of life we can remember. This is the nature of practicing mindfulness. Remembering past or future is not the fault. Fault is the ignorance. Then, little by little we practice meditation by practicing breathing meditation, loving kindness meditation, the contemplation of Buddha's qualities. Those are the meditation techniques. According to Buddhism, there are 14 meditation techniques that we can use to concentrate our mind. The easier meditation techniques are like, loving kindness meditation, the contemplation of Buddha's qualities. Those are the primary level meditation techniques as samatha meditation. But although we practice tranquility meditation, that is not the end of the path. That is not the destination. There were some ascetic persons when Buddha was living. One day, a group of monks went to other ascetic people's monastery. At that time, they asked that, Bhante, we also practice loving kindness meditation. You and your master Buddha also practice loving kindness meditation. Both of us are same, isn't? They asked. At that moment, those monks had no answer to give them. They came back to Buddha. At that moment, Buddha said, no bhikkhu, no monk, it is not same, it is different. What is the difference between Buddhism and other religions? Other religious people's meditation techniques focus on only tranquility, only concentration. All Buddhist meditation techniques focus on liberation or enlightenment or getting rid of suffering. They practice meditation getting tranquility as the destination. But we Buddhists practice meditation getting inside meditation as the final destination. Getting liberation, freedom, enlightenment, nibbana. That is the difference. That is why, even we were practicing breathing meditation. Finally, we concentrate on impermanence. Every moment, my mind changes, my body changes, my experience also changes. This experience doesn't come to the present from the past. This experience doesn't go to the future from the past, from the present. It arises and ceases at the moment. Actually, this is the concentrating on impermanence, dependent origination. Whatever that we practice at meditation, finally, we focus on that meditation to impermanence or dependent origination. That is the difference in Buddhism. Then that is why Buddha has explained 2 meditation techniques, samatha and vipassana. Samatha means concentrating our mind, focusing on particular object for a long time. Then our mind is unshaken. Then we can keep our mind for a long time in the same object, same wholesome object. But it is not the destination. It is the way that we go to the final destination, nibbana or anicca bhavana. Then with the concentrated mind we focus on impermanence. Then again and again we think everything is impermanent. Every experience arises and ceases at the moment. We reflect on this knowledge again and again. Then gradually our understanding grows up. And we try to focus on every experience as the present experience. Then when we see something, this experience arises this moment. When we hear something, when we smell something, it can be same experience that before we have, but it is a new experience. For example, you usually go to the mirror. In the morning, you went to the mirror. When you go away from the mirror, it ceased. When you again go to the mirror, you can see the same picture. Does it sound that the same picture was waiting until you come back? No. It doesn't stop until you come. But you can see the same picture. You came here last week. You saw the same thing here. When you come here this week, you could see the same thing. But it doesn't sound that your experience was waiting until you come. According to conventional truth, it was here, it is true. All things in the world, regulations, rules depend on this conventional truth. But when we go to the ultimate truth, it is completely different. If we want to get rid of suffering and achieve the real liberation, we have to get the knowledge of ultimate truth with the right understanding. Sammaditthi. With this Sammaditthi, if we want to practice something, it is only one, that Samatha and Vipassana, tranquility and Vipassana meditation, insight meditation. On the other hand, when we practice these things, there are other things we can achieve. What they are? Wisdom and liberation. We can't get wisdom. Wisdom is a result. As the practicing of Samatha and Vipassana with right understanding, we will receive wisdom. For example, you can't build something from a tree, flower or something. You can create. You can do only taking care of trees, keeping water, fertilizing, soil, sunlight. When you prepare those things, having flowers and leaves, nuts, it is the nature of the tree. Sometimes you say that daruwa loku mahattanaට කොහොමද කියන්නේ? We can grow. You can grow your children. You can do only preparing foods, medicine, clothes, only things. Growing up is the nature of your preparing things. This also like that. As the result of practicing Samatha and Vipassana with the knowledge of right understanding, then gradually wisdom and liberation come to our life. That is the result. Like having nuts and flowers from the tree. Then as much as we have this knowledge about five aggregates, then ignorance go away, lustful desire go away. They can't live with this understanding. On the other side, gradually we are hurried to practice Samatha and Vipassana. This is the visible result, immediately effective. Calling one to come and see. Sandittika, Akalika, Ehipassika. This is the qualities of the Dhamma that Buddha explained. Visible result, immediately effective. Then we are hurried to practice to get the result. We give the priority to practice this message even though we have children, even though we do some duties in our working place, even though we are taking care of our parents, children. We give the priority to practice this message. We know the real thing that this is the real liberation. Even though we have children, one day they go away. Even though we have our parents, one day they will die. Even though we have now beautiful figure, physical body, one day my body is going to old age. I am like this, without peace, having something. We know the real safety, refuge in our life. Even though we use a lot of things, physical or mental, actually everything is impermanent. We have only thing that as the real safety, refuge, this understanding. If we have this understanding and if we can get rid of suffering, then we can live without suffering even though we are in the old age. When our close relatives go away or die, we can face those difficulties, challenges without suffering, without lamentation, without sorrow. Even though we are rich, even though we are well educated, we can face those difficulties without lamentation, without suffering. This is only that we have to get rid of suffering. If we have this understanding, it doesn't sound that we don't die. Our close relatives die. They die. One day they will die. But we are able to face those difficulties without sorrow, without suffering. Buddhism prepares us how to face those difficulties without suffering. Then little by little, when we practice this knowledge, the other things gradually increase. These things says, 5 spiritual faculties, page number 4. When we are on this path with the understanding of right view or samma ditti, other 4 qualities gradually grow up. Saddha, faith or devotion in the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. Energy or virya, mindfulness, sati, concentration, samadhi, wisdom, panya. Actually, this is the real property. This is the real dowry that we should have. As soon as the Buddha meets a person, Buddha suddenly search how far that person have developed these 5 qualities in his sansaric journey. Buddha doesn't care when he sees a person, his caste or his education or his figure. Buddha doesn't care. Buddha suddenly focus on that person's mind, how far that person has developed these 5 spiritual faculties in his sansaric journey, in his previous lives. That is why day by day we should go forward with these 5 spiritual faculties. Actually, some things are included there too. Sometimes Buddha has explained we have to practice 8 things. Sometimes Buddha has explained we have to practice 7 things. Sometimes Buddha explained we have to practice 6 things. Sometimes Buddha explained we have to practice 5 things. Like this. Sometimes Buddha explained you have to practice only 3 disciplines. Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Virtue, concentration and wisdom. Finally Buddha says, If you practice only one wisdom, then other all qualities come to you. Wisdom actually, although there are many qualities, wisdom is like the umbrella. Everything can be included under the wisdom. If you are intelligent, if you are wise with the knowledge of five aggregates, practicing samatha and vipassana, then every moment you live wisely. You are living wisely. What is your wisdom? What is your intelligence? Our intelligence should be seen impermanence, arising and ceasing at the moment. It doesn't sound we go away from our duties and responsibilities. Actually, we do very well our responsibilities, like you do. You do a lot of things every day. Actually, if somebody has this understanding, he's the person who works a lot than other people do. Some arhantas, enlightened person like Buddha slept only 1 or 2 hours per day. 1 or 2 hours per day. He worked a lot for the people in the world. Even arhantas, after they enlightened, they were not lazy. They were the active persons in the world. If we also growing up with this understanding, we are also the creative, active persons in the world. We do a lot of things, but we are clever to choose the very important things that we have to do. We don't do all things. If we do something, it is more important for many people. That is the nature of our intelligence. When we are intelligent, we do the most important things in the world for the benefits of many people. Yes?
So, as a lay person, we can achieve the results of liberation, not necessarily being a monk. Is that true? Is that right?
Actually, when Buddha was living, some lay people also achieve some kind of spiritual levels, even arhanship. But it is very few. It is very difficult. That is most people who became monks, who became the order of Sangha, while they were coming to the Sangha members, they were telling that I become a monk because of a lot of difficulties in the lay house. When we live in the lay house, there are a lot of troubles, strugglings, problems in the world. That is why I go away from the house. But there were some few people, because they couldn't become monks because their parents were sick. Like Gatikara, Chitta Gurupati, there were some people, they had some duties. Their parents had no anybody who protected them. That is why staying at home, they practiced these qualities while they were taking care of their parents. If somebody had chance to go away from house and escape in their responsibilities, actually they became the monkhood. It is the easy way, because when we are at the temple, we have a lot of facilities and enough vacation, enough duration, time to practice this message. That is why Buddha said, as a monk we are like birds. We have a lot of things to bring. Birds have only their wings. They are free. Anytime they can fly anywhere. We monks also like that. This week I am here. Next week I will be any other place. Next week I will not be here. Sometimes. But you can't do like that.
What is the recommended duration of practice for lay people?
Please say again.
For how long should we practice meditation?
Actually, as much as you can, we have to practice. Actually, if we know the real challenges in our life, Buddha says, like big mountains come from 4 directions, destroying everything. When 4 big rocks, mountains come from 4 directions and towards ourselves, destroying all things, we have no safety. We are also like that. There are 4 big challenges in our life: old age, sickness, death, and rebirth. These are the big challenges every moment which comes to our life, like those 4 big mountains are coming from 4 directions, destroying everything. Even though we are participating for a party, even though we are enjoying with doing some activities, these 4 challenges every moment are coming to us. We can't escape them without practicing this message. That is why we should be hurried. While we are doing our responsibilities, we have to practice. We should give the priority to practice this message. You know, some people, while they are doing a lot of things, actually they do it. There are some people who work in pilots, in flights. While they are flying, they practice something. As much as we have this understanding, we are hurried to get the result in this short life, because in next life we have no guarantee where we will be reborn. That is why this is the very auspicious moment. Buddha says Kana Sampatti in his language. This is very rare, auspicious moment. Don't give up, don't escape, don't give up. Athharin epa, madahara ganna epa. Don't away from this very auspicious, rare moment. That is why Buddha always encourages us, and with the understanding of Sammaditthi or right understanding, we develop our knowledge of karmic law. On the other, by practicing 3 meritorious deeds, we develop our energy, our spiritual energy, our positive energy, and also by the knowledge of impermanence or dependent origination, we always practice our wisdom, intelligence, seeing impermanence with the knowledge of 5 aggregates. Every moment, through our experience, through our senses, 5 aggregates arise senses. This is the nature of our life. As much as you can, try to keep your attention near the nose. Not only practicing for breathing meditation, but every moment keeping our attention near around the nose. Try to practice impermanence. Try to reflect on impermanence. When you hear something, when you smell something, when you see something, this is 5 aggregates. Then at that moment, you are in the land of the Buddha. If any time you can see this impermanence, at that moment, you are in the land of the Buddha. It means you are go away from the suffering. Then we should clever to develop the duration that we think about impermanence, seeing dependent origination, about 5 aggregates. Okay? Have you any question? You can ask. And also, after you go home, please try to read this handout several times until you come back next week. Actually, this is the summary that we have done everything till now. Okay? then every handout is connected to another handout. Then this is the result that you have accumulated merits in your last life, previous life. And don't go away from this fortune. Okay, try to get the result from this fortunate. I wish all of you always. Okay, now we are going to end of our sermon. First of all, we observe 5 precepts and we worship the triple gem, and also we meditated. And this time, all of you listening to Buddha's message very faithfully by the power of all these merits that you accumulated at the moment. May our departed relatives also achieve these merits, and also may they receive these merits and may they enhance their psychic energy, and may they also attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to our departed beloved relatives too. Idamme ñātenang hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Idamme ñātenang hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Idamme ñātenang hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. By the power of all these merits, may guardian deities and angels also receive these merits, and may they have better life, and may they keep their eye on you too. May they also attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's transfer these merits, guardian deities and angels too. Ākāsattā ca bummattā devānāgā mahiddikā puññantaṃ anumoditvā cirang rakkhantu sāsanam. Ākāsattā ca bummattā devānāgā mahiddikā puññantaṃ anumoditvā cirang rakkhantu desanam. Ākāsattā ca bummattā devānāgā mahiddikā puññantaṃ anumoditvā cirang rakkhantu maṃ param. By the power of all these positive energies, may you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no problems come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May you and your relatives, all righteous wishes meet with success. May all of us attain final bliss of liberation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dukkham pantā ca nindukkhā, bhayam pantā ca nirbhayam, sokam pantā ca nissokā, anto sambe pipānino. All the blessings be with you.